Okay. All right. Let's see. Good evening, everyone. I think I've had an opportunity to shake as many hands as I possibly could while you guys were coming in. So I really appreciate, first of all, the opportunity to stand before you and speak on my behalf. As some of you may know, my name is Larry Rader. I am a candidate for the 3rd Congressional District for Congress. That district runs from St. Mary, which is the Martin City area. You'll be familiar with that. It goes Siberia, Vermilion, Lafayette, picks up from Lafayette, comes all the way over here to Calcasieu, all the way up to the state line. Right? So it's a fairly large district. So we're reaching out to people, like-minded people like myself, that we believe that represent the same platform as what we do. And if you look at, if you've got some of the information that I passed out to you, if you look at that stuff, you'll see we're fairly much in line with what you are doing here as a union. And that's very, very important. That's more important than who I am. Okay, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am. I'm from New Iberia. I'm a business person in New Iberia. I've been a business person for the last 30-something years. I work for an insurance company. Work for Allstate. Allstate is now in real estate. Okay. I'm also president for the Port of Iberia. I've been with the port for maybe about 4 years, and the last 2 years they made me president. I'm also vice president of the Kiwanis Club in New Iberia. And I'm also chairman for Iberia Parish Democratic Executive Committee. So I sort of helped Jarmel Elvis to win his election. So I've been around. And I understand the needs that the union members have, and the union leaders as well. And why do I understand those needs? I understand those needs because at one time I was sitting in your position. I used to work for Martin Salt Company. If you're familiar with the salt when it rains and pours, I used to work for them. As a matter of fact, I was a union representative at that time. I worked for them for about 8 years in what they call a salt cake plant, and after about 3 years, they elected me to represent them as a union representative. So I've been there. I understand your fight, and if you look at my platform, you can tell basically the things that I stand for and what I'm willing to fight for. And it's just common sense thing, equal pay for equal work. Everybody know that we all have mothers, we all have sisters, we all have grandmothers, we all have children, women, girl children, that deserve to get paid the same amount of money as what we do. It's only fair. I believe in the Affordable Care Act. I might kind of differ a little bit with the president. I think we need some work there. As a business person, my insurance went from $250 all the way up to $800. I believe there's a solution to that. I think we can work on that. I don't think we need to totally disband it or get rid of it, but I think it needs to be tweaked, like everything else, even in my business. Sometimes things don't go right, and I tweak whatever we do. We sort of tweak it and make it the way we want it to be. So it needs to be tweaked. You know, and those are some of the major things: pro-gun, pro-life. Second Amendment is extremely important to me. I'm probably a little bit more liberal than what you are when it comes to the Second Amendment. I believe the Second Amendment, they cannot touch, the government should not touch that right no matter what. You just had the incident in Florida a few days ago. And a lot of people are saying, you know what, it's time that we start limiting that right. But that right is a given right, regardless of how we feel. It's a given right, and until we come together as a nation to change that right, as far as I'm concerned, you got the right to bear arms even in church. That's your right. Okay, I'm pro-life, and I'm pro-life probably a little different than what you guys are. I'm pro-life from the womb to the tomb. Okay, so I don't believe in capital punishment. That's what that means. Okay, I believe that we should work with one another as people. We should be able to resolve some of our differences. If an individual is a problem in our society, he's going to prison to be rehabilitated, not to be punished, but to be rehabilitated. And you know, some of the things I did as a kid, I probably should have been one of them that went, but I didn't get caught. So, you know, from the womb to the tomb, I believe in pro-life. And those are just some of the small things that I believe in. I know we're not going to agree on everything, but I can tell you this, and I can promise you this. You will have a friend in Washington if I'm elected as congressman. You will be able to call upon me and depend on me for those strategic votes that you may need to get something through. So Other than that, if you have any questions for me at this time, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you guys have been working all day, so I don't want to get on the soapbox and just talk. So if you got any questions for me, please feel free. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So these trade agreements that we've been having to deal with in our nation, NAFTA, now currently the Trans-Pacific Partnership, what's your position on that?
I think we need to look at them. I'm wondering, especially with NAFTA, I'm wondering what's the original intent of NAFTA. I haven't read. I've read some of it to familiarize myself because of running for Congress. But some of it just doesn't seem logical. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for us to give jobs to another entity while we have workers here that need the jobs. Or that we are paying individuals less over there and we're not getting anything here. And that's what's happening. You know, we're making ourselves poorer and poorer by giving more and more away. And at some point in time, you have to take care of home first, right? I can't take care of my neighbor unless I've taken care of my family at home. So that's my position. And it's not just my position on that, but it's my position, period, on any issue concerning the worker and taking money away from the worker and away from the worker's family. And the reason I think that's so important is not because I'm angry about anything, but because it affects our tax base. So some of those programs that we need, like Social Security, things that we're not able to do those things because we're giving our stuff away. So we end up with a big deficit. Well, that's why we ended up with a deficit. Our money is being shifted in the wrong direction. So if I'm elected as Congress, one of the things I will work on is that. I will take that up. I'll have my staff to look at that to find out what was its original intent. And I just can't believe in my mind that their intent was to hurt American workers. Just can't see it.
So as a follow-up, you know, I think you're right that if it's a national security concern, you give away your tax base, you give away employment for your citizenry, but you also give away your manufacturing. So if you had a situation such as happened in during World War II, we had the ability to manufacture. If we send all that to China and India and every place else, Mexico, we won't have it to develop.
Yeah.
So I think it's a national security issue.
I think you're right. I think it's a national security issue as well as more importantly, a family issue, because it's affecting all of our families. And so you start talking about, and I don't want to get into this, but you start talking about homegrown terrorists. That's the type of stuff that create terrorism within our own society because people are not happy. And when people are not happy, they strike out. And that's the American way. It's been that way since, that's how we were founded. So it's nothing really, we just got another name for it. Okay? One time it was called patriots. Now it's called terrorism to some degree, depending on where it's coming from. Now if it's coming from outside the nation, yeah, that is terrorism. But I believe we could have that. I think we're being terrorized as workers. I think we're being terrorized by our government to some degree. Because they're taking more and more and more from us, and they expect more and more and more from us. And it's just not right. And at some point in time, it's got to stop. And if it don't stop, then I think the nation is going to have a revolt. I really do believe that. It's a good question you asked. Anyone else?
Well, to say if you're a terrorist or a patriot, all depends on who wins at the end.
Yeah. Well, let's hope the terrorists don't win at the end. We got to get rid of those guys. I prefer to put up with the patriots than the terrorists. All right.
You're in the 3rd district, is that right?
I'm sorry?
What district?
The 3rd Congressional District. Yeah, the 3rd Congressional District. And that's a fairly large district. We are one of 9 guys that's running. I'm the only damn, but you can tell from my platform, I'm a business person, so I guess I would be like a blue dog Democrat to a large degree. I am a Democrat, but in some ways I kind of go with the Republicans a little bit to some degree. But the thing is not to make this thing partisan, but to understand that there's a right and there's a wrong. Whether you're Tea Party, Blue Party, Green Party, Black Party, Orange Party, Yellow Party, I care less, as long as you stand for what's right. And that's where I stand. I shoot straight from the gut. I'm an honest guy. I'm straight. If I tell you something, you can take it to the bank. I mean exactly what I said. Okay? Any other questions? Listen, thank you guys so much for having me here, and I appreciate the time that you've given me. Thank y'all again. Don't forget to vote November the 8th. And I don't have a number yet, but remember my name, Larry Ray. Thank y'all very much.